Welcome to Ecom Daily News. I'm Isabela Santos, and we're here with Mark Moss, the entrepreneur that has maintained over 7 companies in the 7 figures. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Having a good time. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for giving me your time. So, Mark, the road to entrepreneurship is pretty lonely. How did you manage to do 7 companies, not just one?
I think, I try to think about money in 3 ways. And so there's wealth creation, and then there's like wealth accumulation, which is like investing, and then wealth preservation. So the wealth creation side is the entrepreneurship journey that you're talking about. And so it's actually very simple, but maybe not so easy. And so at the end of the day, you get paid for the value you provide. And so if you want to have a successful business, you need to find a big problem that if I solve that big problem will be valuable, and then the more people that it's valuable to, the more impact it makes, the more money that I make, right? So I could be the best heart surgeon in the world, and I could make $1,000 an hour, and I'm saving someone's life. That's massive value. That's $1,000 an hour, but it's to one person,
Okay.
right? Or on the other end, you have Bill Gates, and he developed a software for personal computers that brought personal computers to almost everyone in the world. With massive value to a massive amount of people, and he amassed a huge fortune in that. So, as an entrepreneur, you're looking to solve problems. Today, I think it's a little bit messed up where like a lot of people think of business owners as being greedy, but actually it's the exact opposite, right? So a business owner is not greedy. A business owner only builds wealth by solving other people's problems and serving other people's needs. So look for a problem, look for a big problem, solve that big problem, and you make a lot of money.
And what would you say right now it's a big problem?
Well, we got problems all over the place, right? So that's step 1. So then you start looking at problems. You want to look at yourself and like, what are my interests? So there's a saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work in your life. Some people think that's a cliche, but it's actually true, and it's actually super important, because in order to be successful, it takes a lot of hard work. And if you don't love what you do, it's very difficult to put the amount of time in that's required. So maybe I'll work hard, but like if you want to be really successful, you need to do more than work hard. Like you need to eat, sleep, and breathe it. And so I look for things where I already have interest, things that I'm already doing for free.
Okay.
So I paid to subscribe to financial newsletters for like 12 years. I read them all the time. I tell my friends about them all the time. I'm already doing that. Not only am I not getting paid, I'm spending money to do it. So what if I get paid to do that?
Okay.
Right? So you take something that you're already doing. I used to sell a lot of e-commerce products. And what I would do is I would look for products that I wanted to buy myself. But it's not just that you want something that you're interested in. I'm also interested in surfing. That's my passion. I surf every day, but there's not really good outlets for me to make money. So I have a bunch of interests. So I take the interest that I have, and then I start looking at problems where that intersects, and then look at the size of the market and the impact for money. And so, like I said, while surfing is super passionate for me, and if I can get paid to do that, that'd be amazing. The market's small, and no one's really going to pay me that much. So I also like to play guitar, but like, whatever. And like, but I'm interested in financial products too, and like, there's a massive market for that. So you see how I kind of do that?
Yeah, exactly. So, and what would you say keeps you going? What's your fuel? Because obviously, in this journey, there's like downhills that go down, and how do you get up from that?
Yeah, so a couple ways. First off, I would say is that when I tell people about new ideas or that I have, I'm like, oh, look, this is so amazing. You can do this, this, or this. It'd be huge. And a lot of the times I get the response that, yeah, but this bad thing is going to happen, and this bad thing might happen, and this is probably going to be a problem for you. And so my response to that is like, yeah, so what? Right? So I go into it already knowing and expecting that I'm going to have those problems. But I believe that the payoff is worth the problems that I have. And so I think going into it with the right perspective that I will have those problems, I'm okay to have those problems, and I'm willing to go through even knowing I want to have those problems, so when they do come, I don't get frustrated. Right? When they do come, I was already planning for them. Not only was I already okay knowing I was going to get them, I planned for them, and I already had plans to mitigate those things. So I think that's one way. And then the other thing goes back to the beginning part, which was your interest, right? If it's something that I already want to do anyway, I'm already doing for free.
Exactly. Why
Then
not?
I don't get shaken out easily, right? Because I'm already going to be doing it whether I'm getting paid or not.
If you were to give yourself advice at the beginning of your journey from starting of entrepreneurship, what would you tell yourself? Like 30, 40, 30 years ago?
If I was starting all over, I would say one, to just go. There's a book, Ready, Fire, Aim. I'd highly recommend everybody read that. And basically it's like, get a little bit ready and then just fire away.
Okay.
And then once you're firing, then you can perfect your aim. So a lot of times people deliberate too long over, do I have the right letterhead?
Yeah.
Do you like my logo? And is my corporate structure right? And it's like, have you even tried to sell the product? Right? So that, fail fast. Knowing that in the beginning you're not going to be very good and being okay with that and pushing forward. The other thing is that you need to be tenacious. You have to be willing to keep trying and trying and trying because you're going to keep hitting roadblock. It's kind of like...
and sometimes it's rejection as well.
There's rejection, but it's kind of like if you think about like artificial intelligence, it's like trying to solve a problem, try, and finally it reaches a solution and it moves on. And then try, and then try, right? And so that's kind of how we are as business owners. The other thing that I would say is that as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and this one maybe is one of the more important ones, is each one of us has our like own area of genius. Typically those are going to be more in the creative side. So in order to be successful, you need to be creative because you have to be seeing problems and coming up with solutions to those. So a lot of people approach businesses from a technician side.
Okay.
So what do I mean by that? So I work at a dog groomer business. I'm a dog groomer. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of working for this dog grooming business. Why don't I just go start my own business? I'll go start my own dog grooming business. Or I'm a mechanic and I'm working on people's cars. And I'm like, why wouldn't I just go start my own mechanic, right? But what I've done, there's actually a book written on this called The E-Myth, the entrepreneurial myth. What I've done is I've just created a new job for myself. I'm a technician, right? I'm the one doing the work. What you want to be is you want to be the creative person that sees the business, the angles, the structure, and the links. So think about it like if you've seen like an orchestra,
yeah,
and you have a conductor of an orchestra,
yeah,
and you have all these people playing instruments. Now that conductor probably can't play instruments as good as any person out there. He can't play the drums, the guitar, the trombone, whatever it may be, but he knows how to get them together to play beautiful music. And so that's really what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur. If you're a technician, you're a dime a dozen. I can go hire 1,000 auto mechanics, I can go hire 1,000 dog groomers, I can go hire 1,000 web programmers, I can go hire 1,000 of customer service people, I can go hire 1,000 of whatever technical role. What you can't replace is the creativity.
But well, I think what would you say to people that have that issue, that are wanting to start a business, but they're scared of all the competition and they probably don't feel that they're creative enough to do it on their own?
So then you need to understand that risk and mitigate against it. So you need to build your creativity. How do you do that? Well, I've been told many times, Mark, you have all these ideas, you're so creative, how did you get them? Input, right? So you read a lot of books, you listen to a lot of podcasts, you sit, you think about it, and then your brain starts putting stuff back out. So you need, if you're feeling stuck and you're not creative, you need more input. The other thing is you can do a simple exercise. Every morning you could sit down, write down 5 ideas. Maybe 5 are too much, start with 3. Every day, write 3 ideas, then go 5, then go to 10. And so, like, a lot of times people think artists are born with this skill of creating art, but the reality is that artists have perfected it over long periods of time. If you know anyone who draws or paints, they've been doing it for their life to get that good, right? And creativity, that's how creativity is. So just because you're not creative doesn't mean you're not a creative person. Maybe you just haven't built that muscle. So get more input and then actually work on it. Like actually force yourself to come up with ideas. Now in the beginning, you have maybe hard to get more than 1 or 2 ideas. And maybe they're very simple and basic, but over time, they'll become more elaborate, and over time, it'll just be overflowing with ideas. I see money everywhere I look, because I've just been doing this for so long.
Wow, thank you so much. I will do that as well, do my 5 ideas a day.